Okay, you know how most shows, whenever you start watching it, and very rarely does the first episode, first two episodes really kind of get you, but then that third one pops up, and it's usually pretty good, and it's usually what kind of really sinks you into it. Yeah, that's what I just had. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Immortal Cave and SameWithTrust.blogspot.ca. The ass shot count hasn't gone up. The sex scene, well, it's kind of gone up, but, well, I'll get to that later. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first reaction to Nor'easter. This is where the shit hit the fan, and I like the fact that it hit the fan. The first two episodes, if you think of them as setup, obviously no one's going to tell you this going into it, but if you think of them as setup, it makes these episodes much better. Because it introduced a lot of things, like obviously the second episode introduced Sister Mary was her name. The assistant I could never think of the name of. Sister Jude, by the way, not June. Jude. But Sister Mary, who was possessed by the devil, I assume. I called her Lucifran, and I think I'm actually going to stick with that name because I think it fits. Regardless, she goddamn stole the show, can I just point out. I'm a big fan of villains. I don't think I need to say that at this point. I love villains, and she's a great one. Because not only was she amusing, not only was she overjoyed with what she was doing, she did it very well, and I love that. It set up the other episodes. Also set up the thing in the woods. These weird cannibal mutants or something like that. I don't know what they are, but kind of set them up as well. And we finally get to see them, and we don't really get much of an explanation. They do chase Lana Kit, I believe was his name. Forgive me if I got that name wrong this time, because I'm having a little trouble remembering some of the names. Again, that's my fault. Lana, Grace, and Kit when they escape. What's interesting about that is the fact that at the end of the second episode, Lana told on the two of them escaping because she still thought that Kit was the killer. What's interesting here is that Grace kind of goes after her and just goes, why the hell did you get us caught? And immediately, and she explains, I didn't want the serial killer escaping. Kit immediately goes up to her and goes, you know what? If it's not true, but if I thought it was true, I wouldn't blame you for doing it. And you know what? I like the fact that that Grace does get upset about it because it makes sense. But at the same time, I really like the fact that Kit actually was just like, you know what? Considering, I don't blame you. I'm not the killer. I'm not guilty. I'm not crazy. But I don't blame you. I like that. That made a lot of sense. To me, at least. Because it had somebody using their brain. And I can still understand someone being upset, which is why I'm glad that they had Grace showing both sides of it. It made sense. And I really, really like that. That's good writing. I like that. More stuff with the crazy doctor. And did they set up anything else? The alien. Right. I'll get to the crazy doctor in a second. The alien. We actually see it for a second. It gets into the asylum for a moment. And Sister Jude, who is drunk off her ass because well, I'll get to that in a second. But we see it for a second, and I still think it's random as hell to include the alien now amongst the cannibal mutants. So, but whatever. Yeah, Sister Jude had an incident years ago. I think about 15 years ago. I think it was where she first discovered God and became a nun. That incident being when she accidentally ran over I'm going to say like a teenager and killed her and just left. Lucifran delivers on poking at that wound very nicely. Brings up the newspaper and just says the mailman brought it or whatever. So Sister Jude's on edge. She also mentions I think the wine might be a little bit funky. Take a drink because it was drinking that caused that, and she has a drinking thing. Again, I didn't mention a lot of this because I'm still kind of getting used to the series, so I'm not quite sure what to say on these first reactions. I'm getting a little bit more into it now, so these might be a little bit longer than they were. Yeah, she had the drinking problem because she killed the girl and blah, 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 blah. And, she tries to get her to drink, and then she's wearing the lipstick, which she says the doctor gave her. So then Jude and the doctor are starting to go at each other now. And she's pitting two sides against the center. And I love that, actually. As a villain, that's fantastic. The doctor is even crazier than before. He's still... I find it difficult to talk about the sex offendy type of things because it's a delicate subject, but I can't think of her name, but the quote unquote nymphomaniac character tries to escape by like flirting with one of the guards, and they're getting freaky in one of the cells or something. She knocks him out. Which, by the way, there was no graphic nudity. There was still implications, but nothing huge. And yeah, knocks out the guard, goes to investigate the doctor, traps her after putting red lipstick on a statue of Mary and then breaking it. Which, by the way, I could have sworn he was going to start fucking it for a second. Which would have been really funny, actually. But, just puts like red lipstick marks on it and then pushes it over. I didn't get it, but whatever. The doctor catches her, knocks her, tries to rape her. Something goes haywire. I'm just gonna word it like that. And he ends up knocking her out. She wakes up in... Everybody thinks she's gone. She wakes up with no legs. And that's probably the single most, uncomfortable, ooh, moment I had during the entire series so far. And for a horror series, good on ya. So, let's get into this. Do I like all the characters so far? Generally, yes. I actually do. I think that they all have reasons for being what they are. They're all enjoyable. My biggest problem is still the alien. I just don't get it. What's with the alien? At least, the cannibal mutants or whatever, I can kind of explain, maybe they're the Doctor's creations or something like that. That would make sense. But, and that's the aliens thing is a little bit too much. I really like the characters. All of the characters are either understandable, they're smart, they're not stupid, they think about things. At least the three main characters, Grace, Kit, and Lana. Again, if I'm calling Kit the wrong name this entire time, I really apologize. I'm going to look it up in a second. But generally speaking, is this good so far? Yes. This is quite good. So, I'm generally very content right now with where all this is going. I'm intrigued. I'm very, very intrigued with what the hell is going with this alien thing, and it better be an interesting payoff. We also reveal that somebody killed Lana's girlfriend, or at least we think killed, who is the actual bloody face murderer. Also, now that I think about it, the future segments with Adam Levine and that chick. Adam Levine ends up somehow getting back up after being, having his arm ripped off and then getting stabbed a couple times. Kills the guy who, or at least knocks him out at least, the guy who killed him, or tried to kill him. She brings, helps him out, goes down the hall, another guy shoots them, reveals that two of them are, robbers, or, a group of serial killers? I'm not quite sure. And they're both they're talking, and then the third guy, who's the actual, bloody face killer, actually just comes up and kills them. Or at least, I assume kills them. It's very strange. I'm not sure what to make of the future sections, but I'm enjoying the series, actually. I have to admit, I wasn't expecting that after the first two episodes. The first two I was kind of huh? Now I'm like, yeah, I can dig this. But, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to watch the next two episodes, the two-parter, the The Anne Frank episodes. What's it called? I Am Anne Frank. That's it. Oh boy. I'm Jewish, by the way. Fun fact. So that's gonna be a little odd, but meh. Anyway, see you then.